Good morning, Boker Tov. My name is Rabbi Shaner, and I'm very excited to start the day with you as we begin every day with, hold on one second. So we begin every day with this rhythm of gratitude, of connection, reflection, and of remembrance together. And so we'll begin with a simple prayer of gratitude for merely being here, for having bodies and minds and souls. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah ubaravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadui lifnei chisech vodecha she'im yipateach echad mehem o yisatem echad mehem yefshar litkayem v'lamod lefanecha Baruch atah Adonai rofech ol basar umafli la'asot. We continue with a blessing for the study of Torah, which will allow us to understand that when we engage with words of Torah, we are stretching our minds and our hearts and growing through the words of our tradition. And so we take a moment to remind ourselves how sacred this opportunity is. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you sanctify our lives with mitzvot and command us to engage in Torah study. Eternal our God, may your words of Torah be sweet to us. Let every generation, young and old, the whole family of Israel, come to know you through the study of Torah for its own sake. Eternal God, we praise you as the teacher of Torah to the people of Israel. We continue with words from our tradition, words of Torah which have stood with us through every generation and which remind us that we are connected to a larger whole, the words of Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, B'chol levavcha, U'v'chol nafshecha, U'v'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, Asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, V'dibarta bam, B'shivtecha b'veitecha, U'v'lechtecha v'derech, U'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha. U'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, V'hayu letotafot bein einecha. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיר תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Well, we continue now with an opportunity to reflect on words from our senior rabbi, Rabbi Dolgan, this morning, words which I hope will inspire us and give us strength to face our day together.
Boker Tov. And on this Friday, this 25th day of Tammuz, as we're getting ready to enter the second of the three Shabbatot between the 17th day of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, these 3 weeks known, as we've mentioned, as Ben Ametzarim, as in these narrow places, and as we reflect on the challenges of our past, looking for lessons in our world today, I really need, even though it's past us now, to turn back again to those things that took place on the 17th day of Tammuz traditionally, because I really want to spend a little extra time talking about them. I think it'll be quite obvious why that is. As I mentioned, there are traditionally 5 events that took place on the 17th day of the month of Tammuz that are mournful, that require us to reflect on them and place them in a meaningful context and find ways to transition them into our lives. And here are those 5 things according to the Mishnah, Ta'anit chapter 4, paragraph 6, that on the 17th day of Tammuz, the tablets of the commandments given at Sinai were broken after the golden calf, and the daily sacrifice was halted, and the walls of the city of Jerusalem were breached, and Apostomus burned the Torah scroll as a punishment for the Jewish people, and a statue, an idol, was set up in the sanctuary of the Beit HaMikdash. These elements of Jewish history are very significant, but many in the world today have historically said, well, why would I fast, or why would I make the time to acknowledge them today? Some of them are very symbolic, like the breaking of the tablets, and others are part of the conquering of the city of Yerushalayim and then just leading up to the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. But here's, I think, the most important example for me at this time that means something different to me this year than it really ever did in the past. That of the 5 things that we might mourn and remember on this time between the 17th day of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, one of them is Batal HaTamid, that the daily sacrifice was halted. Well, I don't miss the sacrifices at all. You've heard me talk about that before. I'm proud that they took place when they did, but regard them as part of our past and as the move from sacrifice toward prayer as one of a positive step and evolution. At the same time, in its day, when the temple stood, the word tamid means regular, it means continual. It also means, tamid means always. And it comes to have that meaning. So what was the tamid? The tamid was the rhythm, was the shigra, was the pattern, the daily pattern of religious Jewish life in the days of the Beit HaMikdash. And I think of any time in recent experience, we can relate as we deal with this global pandemic to what it means to have that sense of tamid removed, to not have a shigra, to not have a regular rhythm to our days. I don't remember which of my friends said it first, but during this time, it's been as if every day is Blur's Day. That even though there are still different days, and thank goodness for Shabbat, so that there's still some sense of rhythm to the week. But nevertheless, this is a time where what always gave us our markers of days and of time and of the rhythms of our life have been, if not removed, then at least significantly altered for almost all of us. And I think now we can appreciate how challenging that is. The sheer number of people who are having difficulties in maintaining themselves physically and mentally and spiritually, of maintaining themselves economically and otherwise. This is a difficult time, not merely because of deprivation, but because of the lack of a sense of regularity and pattern. We don't want our days to become rote. Although this change has helped me know that to some degree, parts of my days were. At the same time, we need that sense of rhythm. I hope one of the things that these Boker Tov segments have done is given those who've taken advantage of them a chance to have that sense of rhythm each day. They've done that for me as well. At a time like this, we need to make sure that when one rhythm is removed, that we're going to have a pattern and we're going to need one. Let's make certain that the one that's established is one of values and of love, one that in fact speaks to how we want our lives to be, who we are and who we wish to become. And so I'd like to share with you from my colleague, Rabbi Dr. Dalia Marks of the Israeli Reform Movement, from her book Bazman, that talks about the Jewish calendar. She created a kavanah, an intention, for the month of Tammuz based on these 5 events. And so I'd like to share that as a hope for all of us at this time. Since it's in the original Hebrew, I'm going to share it in the Hebrew and then share the translation as well. לו לוחות חיים שנשתברו יהיו אחוזים בידיים רכות, לו שגרת תמיד שהופרה תנצל במגרות נפש אהובות, לו מתוך חומות שהובקעו יבקעו חיים חדשים, לו קדושה שנשרפה תהיה פורחת באוויר ומאירה דרכים, לו צלמים חלולים יפנו מקום לכבוד וערכים, לו דברים שאירעו את קדמוננו ואותנו ימצאו תיקון באורחותינו. So she writes, if only the tablets of our lives that have been broken will be held gently in many hands. If only the rhythm of our daily life that has been interrupted will be guarded by loving souls. If only from the walls that have been breached shall burst forth new life. If only the holiness that has been burned will hover in the air and give light to the ways ahead. If only the statues that are empty will make way and make a place for honor and for values. If only those things that happen to those who've gone before us and to us, they should find tikkun, they should find correction and repair in our ways. May we make this time of Ben HaMetzarim one of reflections not only on difficulties, but on the beautiful life that we can create out of those difficulties and the modern difficulties that we experience together. Boker Tov.
Well, now it's time for us to turn our thoughts to those whose lives have been interrupted by illness, isolation, and by the need to work to keep the rest of us safe and secure and healthy. And so we offer words of healing, words from our tradition, with which we ask for the protection and healing of those who are in need. משבח אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, ואמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. ויהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, להחלימם ולרפאותם, וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום, ותגן עלינו ממחלה רעה, ונאמר, Amen. May the one who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, heal all who suffer. May it be your will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life and the wholeness of shalom, and guard us from all illness, as we say together, Amen. This morning, our community is remembering those who died at this time in years past, as well as those who died in recent days and weeks. And we extend condolences to the families of those who are observing Shloshim: David Garber, Zena Werb, Robert Filler, Alan Fridson, Rose Rich, Benjamin Fruitman, and Judy Gabai, as well as those who died on this 25th of the month of Tammuz in past years: John Black, Arthur Brown, Robert Dicker, Sheila Kieran, Faye Lean Nagai, Al Littman, Ralph Lubin, and Manis Purim. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always bring us blessing as we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope, the words of the Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmeh rabba, be'alma divra cheruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehe shmeh rabba mevarach, le'alam le'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmeh tekudshah brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da miran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who remember, as we say together, Amen. It's been wonderful to start the day together this morning and to begin with a bit of reflection on the rhythm of our lives. I hope that you'll join us for services for Shabbat this evening at 6:30 and tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and that you find meaning and comfort in the rhythm of our Jewish calendar that we celebrate together, even when we're apart. And so I hope you get out there and make it a great day. Shabbat Shalom.